All right, in this episode, we want to talk about the transformation. This is the transformation spiritually, mentally, and physically. And it happens. In any built different summer, a transformation happens. And when that transformation happens, everything changes. So, what is the ultimate takeaway? When you think about this in the transformation of a program, the ultimate takeaway is this: do you chase God the same way you chase championships? Let that sink in. Do you chase God the same way and time you break down film? If you spend 20 hours breaking down film and you spend 5 minutes with the Lord, I think you can kind of see how that goes, right? Now, you do have to do your job. You do have to prepare. You do have to be ready. You do have to make sure that everyone is lined up where they're supposed to be, and you do have to make sure those things. But what you really have to hone in on is, who am I, the coach? Who am I chasing? If I'm chasing results and I'm chasing the scoreboard, you have just blown this whole process out of the water. You've messed it all up. So you want to chase God, not championships. How do you do that? Well, number one, you got to own your own atmosphere. So if I'm the guy that stands up and tells you all the things you need to do to get closer to God, but I'm not doing it, something's off. And if you coach teenagers, you know for sure they know when you're saying something and not doing it. I like to use this story. I'm going to use it in a parable form, but it's my parable. It's not Jesus' parable, of the respiratory therapist. So there's this respiratory therapist, and a person goes in and he's, really struggling with his lungs and he's having all these problems. And so the respiratory therapist does all the imaging and says, "Hey, how long have you been smoking?" "Oh, I've been smoking my whole life." "Well, you need to stop smoking. You're about to die because you're smoking." This is the respiratory therapist telling him. Okay, all right. Gives him a plan. This is how you cut down. This is how you get to eventually just stop. Okay. The guy gets in his car. He drives around, and something catches his eye behind the building of the respiratory therapist. On the back door, he sees the respiratory therapist, you guessed it, smoking a cigarette. It's like, what? You're telling me I'm going to die because I'm smoking a cigarette? You see people die every day and you're smoking a cigarette? The guy pops open his cigarettes, puts it in his mouth, lights it up, and goes on his way. That's what I'm talking about here. You can't be the smoking respiratory therapist. You can't be that. You got to be the example. You got to lead from the front. Now, as you're starting to lead from the front, God is going to reveal to you areas in your life that you have to change. And when he reveals those areas to you, change them, because the kids will notice. Chase God before you chase anything else. Everything else will fall into place. You're going to find out, and I've teased this before, you're going to find out that we as football coaches work way too hard chasing something that very few of us will ever catch. And if we put that same energy and effort into chasing the Lord that way, we'll catch him the first time we ask. And we'll never have to catch him again. We'll just always chase his presence. So you start to pray with boldness. If you're at a school that's not allowed to pray, you can pray with boldness on your own. You can pray with boldness at your small group. You can pray with boldness at your church. You want to raise the standard. You want to set the standard so high, and you coach everybody up to it. That's a key. If I am telling you to do 50 push-ups a day, and I've never done 50 push-ups a day, how do I know what 50 push-ups a day feels like? I don't know. Never did it. Well, that's not me. If I do 50 push-ups a day and I know when it's going to start to hurt and when it's not going to hurt, and then I can do 75, 100 to 200, whatever it is, I've been through the struggle. Spiritually, it's the same thing. If you've been through the struggle, tell your team. Let them know what you're allowed to tell them. At this school, we can tell them pretty much everything because it's a Christian school. So we have a lot of freedom, specifically when we talk about the Lord. It's actually highly encouraged. And then make sure you finish, you the coach, whether you're the head coach or you're a coach, you make sure you finish every season giving a gat, all you got all the time. And it's got to start with God. You got to give God everything you got. Then you give your wife, your family, everything you got. Then you give your team everything you got. You start going in this order and things start to change. And the last thing I'll tell you is if you own your atmosphere, what does that look like? If I'm a God-fearing man and my practice has profane language, or let me do this for y'all, the clean version of the songs, and that's you playing it out there, and then you're the same coach bowing down at the altar on Sunday, we probably need to check something because your practice is not reflecting your walk. Your walk needs to reflect your practice. It needs to reflect your tone. It needs to reflect your speech. Those things need to happen. I can't tell you how many coaches I coached with that are like, oh, cuss is just a part of football. That's just what we do. Maybe you believe that. Well, I'm convicted not to do it. And I'm pretty sure I can't do it at my current job. But I never have. I never have. I've never cussed as a coach in football. Why? Because what comes out of my heart into and out of my mouth is what is in my heart. So if filth is in my heart, filth comes out of my mouth. Let that sink in.